What's up, y'all? Welcome back. It's season 4. Y'all know me. I'm your host, Dre. I'm live on location. I got a major show. Hey, a real great friend of mine has been doing great things. He's a life coach, a professional influencer. Hey, man, it's a Hefe lifestyle when it comes to him.
From Pittsburgh, and I'm reppin' hard from my city, yeah, from the concrete. Yeah, they know they been across them bridges, yeah. And time is money, can't take it from me. And they shit funny, I go hard from my city. Said I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm reppin' hard from my city, yeah, from the concrete. Yeah, they know they been across them bridges. And time is money, can't take it from me. And they shit funny, I go hard from my city.
So I gotta get rich. I was born broke, cutthroat, give it to 'em raw. We don't cut coke. Number sky high, we could barely get by. Real shit, no lie, dog. I'm fucking till I die. Who am I? Prove it wrong. Who you with? DTR, where you from? Pittsburgh, where you going? Hella far. There always been a rider. I ain't never had no car. Now I'm feeling like a star, smoking cushy out the jar. Still I get no recognition, but I know they hear me spitting. They ain't talking, but they listen, man. They know I'm on a mission. I ain't bitching, dog. I'm grinding. Big dog shining. Independent nigga to the labels, I ain't signing. Numbers keep climbing, it's straight to the top.
All right, what's up, y'all? As I told y'all, it's a Hefe lifestyle. I'm live on location. You see, I got my man Chet here with me. Hey, we great to get straight into it, man. What's up with you, man?
What's going on,
It's been a minute, man. I swear to God, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, just think about where we came from. That's I want to start there.
Oh, that's where you want to
Yeah,
start?
I want to start there. When I met you, we was in a federal camp.
That was a camp?
Yeah, that was a camp.
I wasn't for sure. All of them look the same to me. Barbed wire and gates look the same to me.
Exactly. But I mean, we, from the TV room to this life.
Yes.
I think about that all the time, man.
Yeah.
And then you know what I mean? When I seen the life influencer life coach, professional influencer, I said, damn, that was Chet before we even knew who Chet was going to be.
Right.
With the Hefe lifestyle. Because we come in the TV room, busting it up, and you always had inspirational words for somebody. You always, you don't think you want to do that when the knuckleheads be doing a little bullshit around the yard, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chet was always somebody that was looked at as to get inspirational words from.
Absolutely, thank you.
You know what I mean? So it feels good to be where we are today.
Well, can I take over?
Yo, go ahead, right ahead.
It feels good to be in the city of Pittsburgh. Thank you, thank you for Pittsburgh TMZ for having me and to sit down. I'm ready to sit down and open up to you. So thank y'all for having me in y'all beautiful city.
Yeah, definitely. Now I want to we already got into where me and you met.
Right, absolutely.
But now let's get into you from West Baltimore.
Yes.
What was that like growing up for you?
Well, growing up in West Baltimore at that particular time, it wasn't beautiful because, unfortunately, I'm a product of a broken family.
Okay.
And at the time when my mother and father divorced, I was around 3 or 4 years old. Mm-hmm. So our whole lifestyle changed during the whole course of that time, right? Okay. From a 2-parent family to a single-parent working mom now, because my mother wasn't working at the time. So from that point, we moved from a pretty decent neighborhood to an okay neighborhood at that time. And so basically I grew up, in an area of where people wasn't always living by the rules of society.
In the hood, basically.
Yes.
To those at home that don't know, in the hood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We lived in the hood.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So at a young age, I knew that I believe God's put it on my spirit, put it on my heart. I'm not trying to get religious on you or anything.
No, you telling your story.
I'm just telling my story.
Yeah.
And at the age of 10, I witnessed a transaction that didn't happen that put my mother in a worse position.
Okay.
Right, as far as I was concerned.
Okay.
So I didn't know exactly how I was going to be able to help financially because at the time I'm only 10 years of age.
Gotcha.
But I knew I wanted to help my mother and my siblings and whatnot. So during that course, I really didn't know. And like my first job was actually a paper route.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and I worked the paper route with an older gentleman. And as we was working the route, I had ambitions and dreams, and I was sharing ideas with him. But I think he was like stuck in what he thought was the best for his company, and I respected that. So then I wound up going down to a local bar, and that's where I came. Matter of fact, I met my first Pittsburgh Steelers, Mean Joe Green.
Oh,
I
yeah?
never forget it.
Okay,
He
okay.
looked larger than life to me.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I'm like 13 at this time, and he's 6'4", 6'5". I might have been 4 feet and some change. So I'm looking up to him like, wow, you know, Lynn Swan, Jack Ham, all the great Pittsburgh Steelers. And from that point, I started working at the bar. And then the bar, I got to meet other individuals. And at this time, none was known to me that it was a trade going on that was allowing people to have a lot of financial freedom in our neighborhood.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, when you say that, once again, so you talking about hustling.
well, life is a hustle.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm talking about more so I decided to partake in what we call street pharmacy.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was operating a large business without the proper license.
Okay.
I like to
Okay.
say.
I like how you put that.
I didn't have the proper license.
Okay. Okay.
But I didn't start off at the pinnacle of operations. I started off at the foundation of operations.
Gotcha. You was a fry boy first before you was
Absolutely.
you had no
Before
drive
I
through.
was manager,
Yeah.
so forth and so on.
So now, would you say that was because of what you seen in the bars, and also fueled by, like you said, your mother got into a situation where you didn't know how you were going to feed, you know what I mean, and take care of your siblings and stuff like that? So would you say that with that motivation being like, damn, I want to take care of my family, I need to do this and do that, was that the motivation that got you into the pharmaceutical?
I would have to say yes, right? I would have to say it propelled me to go that route, right? Because unfortunately in my neighborhood, it wasn't a lot of scientists, it wasn't a lot of doctors, it wasn't a bunch of lawyers, it wasn't a large professional working scale of people that now that I know about. But prior to then, it was a trash man, maybe a police officer. No disrespect to any of these jobs. They well-deserved jobs. It helps our society continue to grow, in my opinion. But it wasn't a lot of options that I thought at the time.
Of course. I mean, you were young.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? You at this point, you're tending to make mistakes, but your first thing was, I need to take care of my family.
Yeah.
So now, we already told you you're from West Baltimore,
Right.
but you know, for me being in Baltimore, I know people say, all right, what part of West Baltimore you
Right,
from?
right.
So, you know, like the Shirley Ave, or
Right.
the, you know what I mean?
Okay, you know a little bit
yeah,
about
you know.
Baltimore. Okay, I see. Well, they call my area R&G.
Okay.
That's called Ricerstown, Grinch Falls, short for Ricerstown.
Town
Grinch
Road,
Falls.
right?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. And that's where I grew up in that area. But I was fortunate enough to be able to go around to every neighborhood for the most part, west or east,
Okay.
is because I used to play basketball when I was young.
Okay.
I wasn't the best, but I thought I was good until
Okay.
I went to Dr. J basketball camp, and then I realized that I better learn to read and write more. Yeah,
Figured you couldn't dribble and do the...
well, the part was, in my area at BNBL is a league they call BNBL, and I was above average at the league. However, when you go to these camps, that same 13-year-old is dunking the basketball. He's doing skills that I didn't have. So I said to myself, that's not going to be my way out, because I'm thinking basketball was going to be my outlet to help support my mom and family. However, I realized at that camp, that day, I better learn to read and write more.
And see, what you saying, that makes me think, even with myself and a lot of young males, black males, white males, Mexican males, I believe a lot of us went through that. When we go to like a game, you know, we're playing football, playing the sport, and we want to excel our family, but we see a Mean Joe Green, or like you said, you see the basketball 13-year-old, he's dunking looking like LeBron at 13.
Right.
You like, okay, this ain't for me.
Right.
So then I gotta go figure it out again.
Exactly.
So now after that, you was around West Baltimore. You was around East Baltimore.
Yes.
You, like you said, you was at the bar. You started to get into the pharmaceuticals and different things in life. Now, you're the How many siblings do you have?
2.
Okay. You're the oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Okay. You have an older sister or
I
brother?
have an older sister and an older brother.
Okay. So as how did things progress from there? Did you start making to where you needed to do to provide for your family? Was it becoming, how do you say, a good thing? Not necessarily a good thing.
Can I?
Go ahead. You go wherever you want.
Yeah. Well, most people, they had these ambitions of big dreams and fantasies, and I'm not knocking big dreams. However, I didn't start off meeting no Escobar.
Exactly.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Escobar, Chapo, any of those people look up to in this pharmaceutical business. I literally started off as an errand boy.
I was going to say, so you basically, we in Baltimore, you was a corner boy, basically, right?
No, I wasn't even a corner boy back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because my mind basically was older guys that happened to be in after-hour bars and whatnot, and I literally would run packages to people.
Oh, so like on the Harlem Nights, you remember in the beginning when the little young boy used to run around and bring the cigarettes to the...
Something like
got
that.
you. The air,
Right.
I got you. Go
Something
play
like
my numbers. Make sure you play my numbers. The errand boy like that.
That was more like that. Yeah.
Okay.
The corner stuff, nah, because my thought was bigger than that. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not knocking my position. But my thought was to think of how can I maximize profitability.
Got you.
So that was my whole thought. Because I learned the layout of the lane, and at this time, I was working for an older gentleman, and he would just basically have me run to your bar, to other people's bars, and I would just come back, and I would get a salary from that, right? I never once asked what was in the package, but I wasn't naive to the point of what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Right? Because the amount of money they would pay me back then seemed like a whole lot of money.
Okay.
So then as I got older, I realized that I was intelligent, right? And in that space, I saw less people of intelligence, no disrespect, was making a lot of money. And I wanted to be a part of that.
Gotcha.
So that's when I then went to an older gentleman and say, hey, can you give me this? And I promise you when I come back, I'm going to have your money and some money. Right? The pet start to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
And from that point, it just kept growing and
growing. So now, okay. Now you went to federal jail.
Yes. Oh, that part. Yeah.
We all know that
it all came to a halt.
Fast and halt. Yeah.
Immediately.
Exactly. Like we always talk, you know what I mean, when we was in a joint. This is the part of the life that they don't want to talk about.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Where was your head at when that happened? Because that was your first time, right?
Yes, that was my first offense. Thank God, my last offense. And I was fortunate enough not to go to prison until I was 38.
Okay.
So at that particular time, at 38, I had well established a lot of legitimate business
Gotcha.
stuff at that particular time. So I wasn't in my early 20s when I went to prison. I'm not saying it's a good time to ever go to prison.
No.
It's a sucker man's game at the end of the day. But I didn't go in my early 20s or early teens. I went as a full-grown man at 38 and didn't come home till 48.
I got you.
Right. So my life wasn't based or predicated on pharmaceutical as it once was when I was a teenager.
Exactly. I got you.
Right.
So, I mean, and the reason why I'm asking you that, because where you're at now, the federal, you went in there with the federal jail. You did 10 years, right?
Yes.
You did 10 years. And did you think you would come home to be a life coach?
Yes.
When you first went in, I mean.
Oh, no. When I first went in, I thought of continuing to build my empire in a positive manner.
Okay.
Right? But I knew I offered something special because, as you even said it earlier, that I will always give good advice.
Exactly.
Help people out. So that always been a calling of mine, I want to say. And while I was in, that's when I came up with the concept of a Jefe lifestyle. You know what Jefe means in Spanish?
Don't quote me, but go ahead.
Okay. Jefe means boss.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I wanted to say that, yeah.
Right, in Spanish. However, I turned the acronym to Journey to Economic Freedom and Empowerment.
Okay.
And everyone has the right to be their own boss in their own manner. However, oftentimes, in my opinion, people want to be the boss of somebody else's life instead of then mastering their own life.
I mean, they say that's the hardest thing to do, is to master your own life. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they say, are scared to look in that mirror and see the reality of who they are.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's a fear factor that comes in with it. And one of the things that I'm promoting is that you can be the boss of your own life. And you know, excuse me, I'm very passionate about it, right? Because I might go off a little, just a little bit, because that's just my passion, right? Oftentimes, people believe that they all gonna be rich, financial rich. But our econ system is not set up for everybody to be a billionaire.
Exactly.
It's just not. However, you can have a rightful life in your own right if you pay more attention to the greatness of oneself. And like you said, that's one of the hardest things to master is oneself. So we tend to master other things that's not of oneself, to me.
Okay.
Right? So that's what the Hefe lifestyle is truly about, is mastering your own self in 4 areas: physical wellness, spiritual wellness, mental wellness for sure, and last but not least, financial wellness, where everybody call it financial literacy. However, many people try to chase the financial literacy part first, in my opinion, instead of then getting the other 3 components in place so they can build on top. They all work concurrent.
Together, concurrently, yeah.
They're not concurrent, they work cohesiveness as a unit together. However, we often don't necessarily put them that way. We think you can get one and then master the other, and then master the other 2. However, it's more than one way to get the 4, but the bottom line is to get the 4, right? 2 plus 2 is 4,
yeah, I
4
got
plus
you.
0. But you have to have them all working together to build on.
So now, while we was in there, you was working on a book?
Yes.
You was working, you were basically drawing the blueprint to today.
Well, I call it the black print. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm glad I like that. I like that intro to that part, right? And I call it the black print is because like an architect has, right? He has a blueprint.
Exactly.
And anyone that follows this blueprint can build that building no matter as long as they follow the blueprint. So I turned mine into what I call the black print. And that black print is where if you follow my principles, you will have a boss lifestyle no matter where you are.
Okay.
No matter where you are.
And then for y'all young people at home, we always said a boss don't just mean you selling drugs or just out in the streets.
Welcome to 5 Minutes of Fame.
5 Minutes of Fame? What's that?
What's 5 Minutes of Fame? It's where you show your talent live for 5 minutes. This is Pittsburgh TMZ presents Come Sit at the Table.
What's up, y'all? We live backstage with Mojo Brooks live at the Improv down in Homestead. He just did his thing, get ready for a second show at 10 o'clock. Well, 11 o'clock. We running a little late nigga time as usual. But anyway, man, what's up, man? You tore that show up, man.
Yeah.
You did your thing, man. You ready to go out here and do it again?
Yeah, one more time.
Pretty done bought you this good ass food.
Food fire. I've been over here dogging this shit.
Yeah, you get ready to go on tour.
Yeah.
I know you excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I visualize you as one of today's kings of comedy. So, you know what I mean? I can't wait to see you out there doing your thing from, United States, worldwide, state to state.
Yeah.
Like, what's some of the things you looking forward to?
Well, right now, the tour is the next big thing on there. That's getting ready to happen. I just recently shot my first season of Wild 'N Out in May.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff that, I just haven't been able to talk about. But it's all happening, you know what I'm saying? God's time.
Dominoes is falling.
It's all falling, man.
I mean, you've been working hard, though. I mean, it ain't like you ain't put the work in.
No, definitely earned.
Running up from the weeds, chasing chasing after an old girl, chasing after her mom and shit, you know what I mean? Then just all the little skits you do, you're funny as hell. Yeah. I mean, I know you got your 6-year-old daughter, that's your world. Yeah. Everybody that might not know that's your world. Yeah. That's what you do this for. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, where do you want to see yourself catapult to now? Because you're already on the big stages, you're you're doing film, you're doing everything you want to do. Where's your next catapult to?
Man, we definitely want to start tapping into the movies. And the end goal, I feel like if you're in this business doing anything, it should be to be the best. And, you know, I'm working towards being that guy.
Okay.
You know, in this industry, being the guy in this industry. I was never okay with being the guy in just Chicago, and I'm not okay with just being the guy in the United States. Like, I want to be the guy.
Gotcha.
And that's what I'm working towards. So, you know, movies. I definitely want to shoot my first stand-up special. I think I'm more than ready for that. Yeah, so Netflix, come on, call me.
You heard it, Netflix calling. My last question I want to ask you: where do you get your inspiration for your material? Is it day-to-day life? I mean, how does it come to you?
Well, as far as like my stand-up?
Yeah, your stand-up.
You know, shit, it's just, you know, stuff that I've been through, stuff that I know other people been through, stuff that I know I'm gonna go through. And, yeah, just life. I feel like people relate to it so much because it's life.
And you write all your own stuff yourself, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm hiring right now. After I shoot this special, we need a whole another hour, so come on.
There we go. Y'all heard it from the man. Listen, I know you get ready to go do your show. Great, do your thing as you always do. Thanks for your time, man. Hey, I can't wait to come and see you out on tour. Hey, stay tuned. We're going to go see. Tell the people what you want them to know, man.
Come on now, y'all already know. The We Them Ones Comedy Tour. Mike Epps, DCM Fly, Carlos Villa, Chico B, Lil Duval, D-Ray Davis, and myself. Y'all, come on, man. Oh, and my boy Moneybag Mafia gonna be there as well. But listen, this is gonna be the biggest comedy tour that comedy has seen in a long time. So I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to see my name on it, to see my face on it. You know, to know that that's where I'm at. If somebody would have told me when I started doing this 9 years ago that I would go on a tour with Mike L, somebody that I was watching, you know, on Friday, I would, like, what? I wouldn't believe them, man. So, you know, to see life happen the way it just happened, and dominoes fall the way they fall, I'm grateful, I'm blessed. And, yeah, man, I can't wait to get to work, man. We finna come kick y'all ass, man. Go get them tickets, man.
Go get them tickets, y'all. Stay tuned. Hey, this is season 4 Pittsburgh TMZ. Welcome. Come sit at the table. So now, when you was sitting in there, like, because I'm getting deep into your head because
Absolutely.
we ain't getting to the book yet,
Yeah,
and I
we
see you
didn't
keep
get
running
there.
there yet,
No,
and I'm trying to get them.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
And that's just the first book. But go ahead.
Okay.
You need to wait.
We in the joint. I mean, you know, we was eating them some bowlies. We was, you know, reading them books.
Right.
You know what I mean? Doing all, you know, bedding,
Right.
working out. What was your inspirations? And I mean, I know, you know, like you said, it was you always been on to this, but how did you set it up? What was your?
See, like I explained earlier, I didn't come to prison as a young man, unfortunately. You know,
Yeah.
I came to prison as an older person. So my setup has always been this since I was a younger person.
Okay.
As I started getting more wise and more wisdom and more knowledge under my belt, because people really don't understand the importance of knowledge. I'm not talking school. I'm talking about knowledge. Knowledge allows you to open up to endless possibilities. But we sometimes, without realizing, in the joint, I didn't know it was so many illiterate people of it. Literally, they couldn't read or write. Like some people didn't even know what they were locked up for.
True.
So that saddens me, and I didn't mind helping them learn to read and write. So one of the things that helped me. So I'm bringing this full circle.
Yeah,
Trust
no
me,
doubt.
I'm
I'm here
right.
for that.
So one of the things that helped me was knowledge. And by me having unlimited knowledge and access to knowledge, it allowed me to set up my life a lot different than most people.
Okay.
Right? And with that knowledge, it helped me run the course. Like I said, I always felt that I was a boss, and not boss of people, boss of myself. Mastering myself. I've always been working on myself. And as I said earlier, Jefe means boss in Spanish, but I turned the acronym to Journey to Economic Freedom and Empowerment. And I always wanted to empower others. You know how you have some people that have a jealousy, enviness in them. I never had that in me. You can go as far back as I can remember, and anybody that know me, I never had that in me. So I never operated from that perspective, because what they try to teach you, that is not plentiful for all. It is plentiful for all, but you might can't get all.
Exactly.
But it is plentiful.
Exactly.
So I never had that in me. So through my whole life, I always was one to want to empower. Now, maybe my choice of occupation wasn't the best, but anybody will tell you I empowered anyone that wanted help from me.
Okay, now that you say that, and it brings up an interesting topic. So Jada said you were her influencer, a mentor. What was that like? Like, you know, tell me, you know, because she talked about it on the Breakfast Club. She talked about, you know, they asked her who was her main two influencers in life, and she said you and Tupac, and she got to talking about you more.
Well,
Charlamagne, yeah, Charlamagne asked her. He asked her.
She didn't ask.
Charlamagne asked her who was her, and she brought you up.
Exactly.
So, I mean, what was that like?
That was an interesting time when I met JP. I always used to call it JP. And it was a time where I literally was on top of, I called the world at the time, and she was the first young lady that I ever dealt with in that capacity.
Got you. And when you, I mean, just briefly in that capacity, what did we mean in the game? Y'all know what the game is. We don't got to go into detail. Right. So that's what some people that don't understand, that's what we're talking about into the pharmaceutical game, as we called it earlier. But go ahead.
Yes. And so at the time, it was like things was going well. Like all my plans was formulating, they was coming to life, and then I happened to meet her through a mutual friend of ours. And from that point on, it kept developing into a positive friendship, a positive mentorship, and as she kept growing and growing, it kept growing and growing.
So when you say mentorship, like what were some of the things you were, just life instances, life problems, like what kind of some of the things you mentored Jada about?
Well, I always used to share with her, and particularly in that time, is that you should always have a legitimate job, right? Because most people don't think you're supposed to work. I don't understand it, but you risk your life to the penitentiary, but you don't want to work.
You'll go work for 30 cents a day.
Yeah, you'll go wind up for 30 cents a day. So I always had a legitimate job. That's one of the things I taught her. Another thing I taught her was always be on the low, meaning not to be flashy. I see so many of these young guys, and then they wonder why the feds or the regular police pick them up. You got on a mink coat, and nobody in the area own mink. It's not even cold.
Yeah,
so those type
like
of
having
things,
a Mercedes in the projects.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
And that particular time. So they things, and then I always share with her she should have a plan. You know, not that all your plans gonna come to fruition, but you should always have a positive plan to move yourself forward in a positive space.
Okay.
So they the three things, you know, name the three things that I share with her. I think she even discussed them in her book. What I shared with her and whatnot. And as she continued to grow, and then realization, she had some altercations, some things transpired in her life, and it made her choose a different path.
Okay. Now, were you ever around her and Pop? You ever see them, like, you know what I mean, intertwined? And not saying like in a love or anything, like just being around in a bar or club, you know what I mean? You know.
Yes, I was around before Tupac career took off.
Exactly. I mean, of course, we know because they were in Baltimore at the time, so of course he wasn't. You know what I mean? Right. So how was Pocket? You know what I mean? How was this?
I personally don't like speaking on people that can't speak for themselves.
Got you.
That's how I always been. Anybody that know me. What I knew of the gentleman at the time, he was going somewhere.
Got you.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly where he was going.
You didn't know he was going to be one of the greats.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I knew he was going somewhere. Just like in her, I knew she was going somewhere.
And I remember we talked about that earlier before we got on set. Would you say it was the look in her eye when she said?
Well, one day we were together, and she told the story to me because, you know, in her book, y'all can read all about it. And I could see in her face she was serious. And oftentimes people say that they serious, but they're not willing to put the man hours into being serious, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
And from that point on, I knew she was destined for greatness, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then it's not her just only, it's just other people that, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, I know you deal with a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. So
Absolutely.
I know, and it just was one of the things I wanted to touch on because, you know, that's come from, it's home to
Right,
you. Y'all both of y'all, Baltimore's home, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then to hear her speak about it on national TV, and I know a lot of people just was like, damn, because, you know, it blew my mind at first.
Right,
because,
right.
you know, I was around you for 10 years, but that's not the type of time we were on to be
Right.
sitting there glorifying, oh, I know Jada, or, you know what I mean, things
Right.
like that. So, you know what I mean? When I heard
Absolutely.
that, I said, wow, you know what I mean? And then, now let's get to the book.
Yeah.
All right, so you wrote a book, excuse me, not did.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Author of A Hefe Lifestyle.
Yeah, Chet Pajardo.
Chet Pajardo.
Yeah, Chet Pajardo.
52 weeks
Yes.
of boss.
Yes.
Inspirational quotes.
Inspirational quotes.
So as I go through this book, there's a lot of different inspirational quotes. You have a section where you could write on it. You thought of all this while you was in there?
Well, I thought of so many more things while
Yeah, but I
was
mean, but this
Right.
is your first. Is
So,
this your first baby?
This is my first book.
Okay.
The second book is coming out hopefully by March.
Okay.
Right, and that's details. Let's talk about this book.
Oh yeah, no, we ain't even talking about that
Yeah, we
book.
ain't gonna talk
But
about it.
when did you put this together? Because this was like, you know, I know you remember when you may have went and remember those things they gave you when you would go to service. I'm not sure if you.
Now I've never been in the service. So
No. I'm talking about like church, and you got them
books. Oh,
the
church
morning. Every day there's a different little.
Inspiration.
Yeah, inspirational
Right.
things.
Uh-huh.
So this
Daily
is like
bread,
something
they
like
call
that.
it.
Yeah, this is something. Yeah, daily bread.
Daily bread. That's what they call it.
This could be compared to a daily bread of a boss.
I will not, because I don't want to lose anybody in this.
Okay.
So, 52 weeks of Hefe's inspirational quote is the first book. Let me give you the backdrop so you can understand the full. So, in this book, I took my personal quotes. One of my favorite quotes is love God, love yourself, love others.
Gotcha.
And in this book, you have a whole week to reflect on this quote. So all I'm trying to open, some people's minds are already open. I'm just trying to open those that are not, so you then can be your Hefe as well.
I got you.
So then in week 2, most people don't pay attention to this part of the book. It's basically telling you perspective.
Got you.
Give you a perspective. You read the quote, you reflect on it, and then you put this quote to application.
To action.
To
Yep.
action.
Got you.
And most books don't do that. I'm not saying some don't, but when I was reading a bunch of inspiration, it just gives you an inspiration.
Yeah.
So it goes in order of week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you can start wherever you choose to start at. So when I came out with this book in March, we actually at week 40 now. Right? And I actually come on my podcast and we talk about the quote. We read last week's quote, and then we read next week's quote, and then we continue to go with that. So once people join in, and like I said, so that what inspired me to start with little small nuggets, so then you can continue to build your personal wealth of knowledge, understanding, and greatness. And so, as you can see, it say author of A Hefe Lifestyle. That's the second book.
Okay.
And that actually loosely talk about my life, how I met certain people, what I did, and maintain
Like a
being
biography,
boss.
basically.
Like a biography,
Yep.
biography. And then it talk about the principles that I've used throughout my whole life to become a boss. And that's when I talked about earlier about the black print.
Got you.
It being the black print.
Got you.
So that's coming out in March of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, so this book was inspired. I had help with it, and basically.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, no, I know you listening, but it just makes me feel good that I'm able to help, right? And it makes me feel good that people like you and others that had me on understand the importance of growing into your greatness.
Exactly. Now let me ask you a question, because this is a quote out your book. You either experience the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The choice is yours. Now when you hear that, Elaborate.
Okay? For most people, right, oftentimes discipline is lacking in things that they don't like doing.
Okay.
So either you're going to experience the pain. Read it. You want to read one more time?
I'll read it one more time.
Yeah.
You either experience the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. So one thing I love about God, I'm not going to get all religious on you,
No.
but I love God, He gives you free choice, right? So you can either experience it by being disciplined, that comes with discipline, or you're going to regret it by not being disciplined in whatever area you choose to partake in, right? And oftentimes we have regrets because we didn't go out and read that book. We didn't go out and get that job. We have other people being proofreading your vision,
Exactly.
but they blind.
Exactly.
Right? That's
Exactly.
a quote in that book as well.
Okay.
So that's one of those quotes is based on that. Don't experience regret. Go out there. God gave it to you within your right, but you need these tools to help you continue to grow.
And like you said, don't experience regret. Experience discipline.
Experience discipline.
You know what I mean? That's
Right.
you know what I mean? And
that small tool of thinking will magnify, in my opinion, magnify your life in a different manner. You won't look at things the same.
Totally.
Totally. You'll look at different things.
Totally. I mean,
and that's what 52 weeks of Have Faith Inspiration Quote is about.
Okay.
Opening your mind to looking at a potential different perspective.
Okay.
If
And
not-
I mean, you got quotes all over this, and I mean,
Yes.
it's quotes that make you think.
Yes.
It's quotes that you could tell real near dear to you
Yes.
from sitting here talking to you, and I just feel the energy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Coming from this. And I mean, 52 weeks.
Yes.
So if I happen to walk in the bookstore and I see this book, Have Faith,
Yes.
52 weeks of inspirational quotes.
Yes.
What am I going to look for at week 52? Where should I be once I get to week 52?
Well, if you go
this
from
inspiration?
beginning to end, by week 52, that's 1 year of your life. 52 weeks of a year.
Gotcha.
Right. 1 quote a week. By week 52, in my opinion, you should have a different or continuous perspective of moving into your greatness. Right? That's one of the things. Like you can find it on Amazon.com as well as AJEFE.lifestyle.com. AJEFE.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get all into that.
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure they know where to get this book
get this
from.
book.
I'm just trying to get the people
Right.
to understand why they need to go get it.
Absolutely.
Because they, at the end of the 52 weeks, at the end of the year, going through this book, they're gonna feel it be a different person besides feeling.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It will open your perspectives up to new, endless possibilities. And that's all it is. Like I said earlier in the podcast about knowledge. This is a book of knowledge in one capacity or the other. And whether you want to take it, soak it in, you can start at any week. Some people don't start at week 1. Some people wanted to start when you give you week 20. When we decide to place the well-being of people above money, the world will be a better place.
So, I mean, I'm going to say it again. I mean, you started the answer, but I want you to really answer. What is 52 weeks of a Hefe? Where am I going to be at the end of that year?
I'll share it with you again.
Okay, maybe I missed it then.
I think you missed it. If you haven't been enlightened, you will become enlightened.
Got you.
And moving forward and building your greatness, your Hefe lifestyle, mastering you as an individual. Once you get connected with this book, it's no other choice but for you to continue to rise and go to zenith. And that's where I want everybody. But you gotta go to zenith in your own right. Not because of you, not because somebody inspired you, but your life. And oftentimes people, in my opinion, they want to live somebody else's life instead of then living the life that God gave for them, right? And that's one of the things. It's so crazy because I just opened the book. I didn't pick.
Yeah.
I just literally opened the book, and this book I read to you when we decide to place the well-being of people above money, the world will be a better place. And I really believe that.
I mean, I believe that too.
I really believe
Because,
that.
like-
So I want your well-being at the reading 52 weeks to be the best.
Yeah.
And to keep going from this book, there's other great books out there, but right now, since we on your show,
We talking about Hefe. We ain't talking about no other book.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that's where I'm.
And like you said, people, because money ain't real.
No.
Like one of my favorite movies is Blow.
Okay.
You know, and Johnny Depp and I forget his dad. They're at the police station, and his dad said, "Money's not real, George."
Right.
You know what I mean? And it always stuck with me.
Right.
Because one of the things, you know, in the lifestyle we lived, we were chasing the dollar.
Right. Absolutely.
But as we sat down and really got to think and understand about life, money's not real.
Well, we learned that in prison.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Once we had
tuna,
to sit
fish, and stamps was the money.
Yeah, tuna, fish, and
Everybody knows
stamps.
the econ system can change any time there's a group
Exactly.
of majority of people want to change it
Mm-hmm.
because we have Bitcoin now. I'm not going to go all into
Yeah,
that,
nah.
but we know the econ system itself can change depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
We literally lived off of stamps and tunas.
Mhm.
It wasn't no money. We
Mhm.
wasn't exchanging nothing. We were saving a stamp or some
tunas.
tunas.
Yep.
Plain and simple. So we know other econ systems exist,
Mhm.
but if you place your well-being of people over anything, this world, in my personal opinion, will be a better place. Everybody not gonna want that though.
Mhm.
That's just the life that they choose to live.
Mhm.
But one thing I can say, by reading this book, you will be open to endless possibilities.
And that's what I want y'all to know, America. I wanted them to know what getting this 52 weeks of being a Hefe lifestyle.
Absolutely. Now let me explain to you. These 52 weeks come with a price.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't happen for me.
Mhm.
I've been living this a long time, so I'm sharing it with the people. So I call it what's it, the dummy book? It's
Yeah.
the
What is the
prosperity for dummies.
Oh, for dummies, or yeah, I got you. Inspirational quote. Got you.
All right. So and I'm not calling nobody dummy. I'm just
No, that's the name of. That's how they named the book.
That's how they named
They
the
sell
book.
millions of them books.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I'm just sharing with you. This is your cheat sheet to opening you up to a greater path of your greatness, mastering oneself, and very few people get to do that.
What's your age recommendation for this book?
Anyone that's capable of reading.
I knew you was going to say that. I
Yeah,
just
and
wanted-
I mean that because you gotta understand. I've been out here for the last 7 months, 8 months with the book, and people have bought this book for their 5-year-old. Because the earlier you open them up to endless possibilities, the more they can dream. And if you can conceive it, right, then you can
be it.
believe it,
Yeah.
then you can achieve it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always been one of the things. So I had parents buying their 5-year-old this book, 6-year-old. And then I had people as old as 70, 80 read this book. And not one person thus far said this book wasn't worth read. Unworth read.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
So how's the book signings been? How them been going?
They've been busy. You know, I never thought I'd get cramped in my right hand.
You know, all this shit blows my mind because you have never been the guy that wanted to be in the light.
Absolutely.
Never.
Never.
So when I seen you come across my timeline on Instagram, I said, man, get the fuck out of here. I said, not Chet. I call Hawk, you know what I mean?
Right,
Shout out to Hawk, another homie from Baltimore. I call Hawk. I said, man, what is Chet doing? He said, I guess he's writing a book. You know how Hawk be all everybody. I guess he's writing a book. You see what he's doing? I said, inspirational quotes? I said, you could barely get Chet to talk to anybody in the joint.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you always, the ones that you did deal with, you had the knowledge. You gave us the knowledge, especially being younger and being, you know, even some that was your age. You know what I mean? But you gave the knowledge. But it just blew my mind to see you out and you're a professional life coach, an influencer, like, because you were bottled up in there. I mean, of course, we in prison, a bunch of men, but it's just to see you, the growth and the development of a Hefe lifestyle, and to see you come on every day. Or is it once a week or every day?
Twice a week.
Okay, twice a week. You'll come on and you do your live.
I do my little live.
And you know, I see a lot of the guys that we were with, and a lot of the guys growing up, and even include myself. We be looking wild as hell on her now, televised on all social media. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And how is that for you, like grasping that you got to do this now? Because I know you're a private person.
Right. Like I tell most people, right, I'm extroverted, but I'm private, right? So a lot of people think because you're an extrovert that you sociable, live. And y'all know me, I don't like wasting anybody's time. Time is one of the quotes in the book, is the most precious gift you can give anybody is your time, because you don't get it back.
That was great said, yeah.
You don't get the time back. So for me, it's definitely mind-opening, because when social media was becoming prevalent, I was literally leaving the streets. So now I was like, whoa, people talk all that business on this. You know, I'm just coming home and like, this is the new way they do business. So that's the only reason I have social media, right? Is to make and help produce a positive product, not just for myself, for my family, but everyone in my community, outside of my community, even in this universe. That's how big, you know, I always think, right? So it's very shocking to me, because I'm, like most people know me, I'm real reserved in spaces, especially when it comes for information. I'm not no gossiper, so I don't do that. That never hit well. I'm not envy or jealous of anybody. So for me, it was really, it's still difficult at times, because people be like, you need to do this, you need to post this, you need to post this. And I'm like, man, I don't want them fake followers and fake friends, because I can post some stuff. I have 100,000 people easy following me.
Exactly.
You know, but that's not who I am. So I want this to be a grassroots situation where those who really want to come along on this journey to self-mastering their own boss, that's who I really want to come join me. I don't mind those who come in and think it's going to be a flash, instant gratification. That's not what I'm on. And anybody tell you, you know that. That's not my thing. If you think there's going to be instant gratification, you're wrong. It seems like that, but it's not. It's putting in the work behind it. So I'm willing to sacrifice me getting in front of
the cameras,
to let people know that it's not instant gratification. Because other than that, I will be behind the scenes guy and keep it moving, keep helping people that I can help, and keep going. But I don't want anyone in this program that don't want to be in this program.
So now, when you say the program,
lifestyle
program,
lifestyle,
but I also see you have the website where people can get the merch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get the Hefe merchandise.
Absolutely.
You can get the Hefe whole experience.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? What's that website where they can get that?
www.Ajefe Lifestyle, AJEFELIFESTYLE.com.
Boy, you doing great. Look at you.
Look.
You got it ready. You
Right.
spitting it for the cameras and everything. You got it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and because it's my passion. And I try to tell people, if you're fortunate enough to do something that you're passionate about, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. If God puts something on your heart, He's going to make a way for it to become reality.
And you know what? When with you saying that, I must speak for myself and what Pittsburgh TMZ and the podcast Come Sit at the Table.
Yeah.
You know, I started this when 3 years ago.
Okay.
You know, and my main thing that I keep pumping in my head, I heard it was from Ice Cube. He said, if you're not ready to put 5 years money into something with no return, then don't even get started.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
That's the easy end.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Because it's really 10,000 man hours into something.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I keep telling myself, you know, like you said, it's not about the money.
Right.
The money will come.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just like once we learned, it was about the money when we were doing what we were doing, but when the time got took away, it was like, fuck the money.
Yeah, well,
we want to be with our family. We want to, so, you know, that's what once we said before earlier. Money is not real. Money is not the root to this whole thing of what we're learning and experiencing and dishing back out to the world and giving to our kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you got young kids in Baltimore, you got young kids in Pittsburgh, New York, LA that's looking at Hefe right now.
Absolutely.
And I call you Hefe because you bossing right now.
Thank you, family.
You know what I mean? And this is you, Hefe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, and you got kids looking up to and young men. How do you feel with the young youth now, the difference?
I personally feel the difference is because, fortunately, I was taught by older men that literally sat me down and gave me rules of engagement. Often in what I see now, there's no rules of engagement at all. And I'm not supporting being a criminal or having a criminal lifestyle or even partake in criminal activity. And one of the real reasons, because I tell people, is a sucker man back. right? And I mean that in sincerity. Most people gonna be like, "Oh, what he talking about?" Let me
Say it
break
again. A sucker man's
It's a
back.
sucker man back.
What, being in that lifestyle, right?
Being in that lifestyle is a no-win. A good author that I love is called Malcolm Gladwell. He co-wrote a book with Stephen Levin, I believe. I'm not for sure his last name, but it's called Freakonomics. And he broke down the math, and most people don't even break down the math. Like, they talking about they want to be a millionaire, and they don't even know how to get to $1 million. You don't even have the capacity. So you can't get $1 million if you don't understand how to get to it. That's number one. Anything. Get to anything.
Yeah, I got
Not
you.
just the money.
Yeah.
Anything. Right? So I share with people oftentimes, with younger people, when I'm mentoring them, and I give them the breakdown. You remember in prison, I gave you breakdown. I tell people, you the number of years that they gave you, divided by the number of money that you made, that they took, that you think you made, that your girl messed up, your family messed up, and divide that by the number of years you get. That's your salary. And that's for being light on the salary for you, right? And most of it's not adding up, because in his book, he basically says you can work at McDonald's and surpass most people that's selling drugs on the street, you know, because you got fires and
No, you right. You listen.
right?
And you right.
Be surpass them as time go.
You right.
So I tell people, when they get mad at me, they like, well, you made out. I didn't, because now all the stuff I missed in my children's life.
You can, and that's you know what's
can't
crazy.
get
You say
that
that.
back.
That's what the only. I told the judge that when they asked me, "You have any regrets?" I said, "I'm gonna be away from my kids for 10 years."
Right.
That's the only regret, because you can get the money back.
Oh yeah,
You can get the clothes back.
Listen,
You can
they
get the
ain't
jewelry
stop
back.
printing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So as long as I tell people this all the time, as long as they keep printing it, you ain't gotta worry about it. When they stop printing it, it might become a problem then. But as long as they print it, you can get that. And one of the things that you can't get back is your time. And as I said, is one of my favorite quotes in the book is the most precious gift you can give anybody. So not all the things that I miss, I can't get that back. And I'm not promoting people do what they should want to do or what they had to do. All I'm saying is a different way to become successful than just partaking in pharmaceutical products. That's under the law illegal.
So I mean, like what I was saying about with the youth, and you said you touched on it. They didn't have nobody to talk to or nobody to guide them.
No
and
guide.
I totally agree with that. But now let me ask you. I'm 42. You're 48.
No, I'm 55 now. Yeah.
Damn. Is it our fault?
Is it who fault?
Our fault is the older generation from the ones up under us, because we are the old heads and the the uncles now.
I think I don't even like using certain words no more.
Okay.
Right? Because then it paints a picture of something fault can't be fixed, can't get
Gotcha.
resolved.
Gotcha.
So for me, being consistent and disciplined in my message is a pattern of showing you how consistent and disciplined I'm in it. Meaning by that is, you said the word fault. I understand where you're coming from, but I think it's a combination of development is on everybody play a part in it, right? Because is it our fault that they ain't learn to read and write?
No.
You see what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
got you.
But is it our fault that some don't want to come to you and get wisdom too because they say you're too outdated for them? Because I literally had a cousin when I came home. Can I give you a story?
Yeah, you
I
can.
literally had a cousin when I came home, and you remember social media new to me. Because when I left, it wasn't happening.
None of that, yeah.
Right. So I literally did my son, daughter saying, look at your cousin. He literally on the air promoting, selling illicit activity. So I calls him. I said, hey man, I was taught you don't supposed to be bragging and advertising. You're supposed to be on the low, right? He tells right out of his mouth, man, you've been gone too long. This is what we do now. So how do I supposed to address that? I've been gone a long time.
True.
How do I address a young man or young woman that already had their mind made up in that space?
So would you say that's the problem? One of the problems? Because these young men got their mind already made up, and you know what I mean? They shun us away like that. Because I know when we were growing up and the old head said something, we paid attention to it.
Right? I think it's more than that, family.
I mean, I'm just saying that could be a piece of it, of course.
And one of the biggest things I think, to me, that what we lack is we aren't telling them the truth behind nothing comes for nothing.
Gotcha.
Right? And what I mean by that is everybody think, not everybody because that's overgeneralizing, but majority of people think you're going to do something one day and rich is going to happen tomorrow.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. So I want to blame it on IG. Right? Not
Social
IG,
media.
Social media.
Oh, instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Gotcha.
And when we get that thought out of our mind, I think it will better prepare people to do different things.
Now let me ask you with that. Is that a sickness for us? Because I'm gonna speak once again. I'm gonna speak for myself. You know how people say they fighting addictions to alcohol, drugs, sex addictions, different things like that. For the last maybe 8-9 years, you know, I've admitted to being addicted to fast money.
Okay.
And then, you know what I mean? And that's instant gratification.
Okay.
So being addicted to that instant gratification, that's a problem. Because
I'm
you know,
following. I'm just listening.
because
to
I
you
mean,
speak.
and once again, I'm gonna speak for me.
Right.
When being addicted to money, you go back to the AA books, people, places, and things. Okay, if I take myself away from those, I still got bills and children.
Absolutely understandable.
That's the worst triggers, especially when your kids want something and you can't provide for them instantly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I say that instant gratification. I believe that's like, you know what I mean?
And I'm not a psychiatrist. You know, I'm a
No, we talk. We lived it though.
Right, we lived it.
Experience is the best teacher. I don't care what no book say. If you can't go through it, I don't think a book could tell you.
Right. So to that, if just imagine we reprogrammed our mind, right? That your son don't want the Nike Airs. He just want a pair of shoes on his feet. Say we reprogrammed our mind that we don't want to jet set around the world. We want to go over to grandma's house and spend quality time. Right? I think these reprogramming will help, right? Addiction, I'm not going to say I haven't been addicted to something, so I'm not even going to sit up and say that's not a disease, it's not things that help. But I think it starts mentally, personally, right? Then after the mental part of it is to come the physical and then the spirituality, right? And then last but not least is the finance. And we talked about that earlier in the podcast. However, we tend to put the finance front in first and forget the other components for your greatness. So for me, is maybe we reprogram how we think about things. Do you need Prada to say you worth something? Or could you be worth something because God said you was worth something?
I mean, because me, I tell her, you know what I mean, in a minute.
So do you
I don't, the clothes don't make me.
Right.
I make the clothes.
You make the clothes.
Yeah, you know how we think.
Right, how we think. But so many of us don't think that way.
Exactly.
So maybe if we reprogramming our thinking into a more positive space, that might be a help. I'm not going to say it's the cure, but that might be a help.
Are we lost with the social medias like that? And
I think social media is lying to a lot of people. Because I see people, I'm one of the famous rappers, because you can't even say nobody's name these days because they be thinking you clout chasing or something. And I never understood the concept of that.
Yeah.
How can you clout chase something?
Just because I mentioned
Because
you.
I mentioned your name and I'm giving you praise for your name?
Yeah, so that
I'm trying to do what?
Exactly.
So that's a whole nother thing, right? So, but we're going to stick on, I believe a rapper once said that we're too interested in having fun this, fun that, to really get to know who you are as a person. And to me, if you really dig deep down inside and you strip a man down, at the end of the day, there's very few things a man or woman would need. One would be water, food, shelter. And some type of clothing. However, we put our mark on these pieces as if they are in all to be all, because it somehow gives us a validation of some type of wealth. But you know inside, and anybody else that's been inside, a lot of that is stripped down.
Majority, ain't a lot of all of it.
300 minutes, you get $300 at commissary. You get the
we all got the same clothes.
Same clothes. So now, you're telling me these clothes make you in there or don't make you?
They don't make you at all.
Exactly.
That's why when we come home, if your mindset wasn't there, it's going to be there because we just lived 10 years with khakis and T-shirts and sweatpants.
Exactly.
We didn't have no Gucci and Prada.
And the crazy thing, anybody knew me, that's what I wore before I even went to prison. I would wear that.
I get it.
Right. So for me, a lot of it is reassessing what's truly important to you as the individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you believe in owning a fine car and having, jewelry, and as I said, one of the rappers even said this before, when I'm in the streets, I don't see none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you, I've been on movie sets and all that, and the jeweler right over there is getting it, give it back. The car coming on a flatbed after they do the video,
Tell them
and
the
it's
truth.
gone. I'm telling
the truth.
real.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
them the
gonna give
truth.
you real
Because
stuff.
listen, when my sons and them be watching, I be like, that jewelry could be fake.
So if you hear some of the lyrics, and some of the lyrics today have lost me, I don't even understand what they're saying because everybody want to kill somebody, and I never understood that. When rap, in my opinion, is the enlightening. Right? What's enlightening about killing another man? You taking away from his family, you might be taking yourself away from your family. So I don't see none of that as being worth anything.
And when we grew up,
opinion.
you didn't talk about no shit like that.
Exactly.
That was never to be talked
You
about.
really wouldn't even hear me talk about this, but the message they want to hear part of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them the part, but the part I really want to give them is a Hefe lifestyle, right? Period. So for me, when all these people thinking these guys jet setting and all that, nah, they paid the man. They not even getting in the jet. Anybody know what a jet really costs to rent?
It cost $20,000 just to
Listen,
gas it up.
Or more,
Just to put the gas in it, yeah.
right?
Depending on the jet, yeah.
Depending on the jet and what size, right? So those type of falsehoods are being perpetrated by a lot of people. So then it inspires people to chase falsehoods that's not real.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Chase the falsehood that's real to you. You can touch your mother. Hopefully you can touch your father. Hopefully you can touch your aunts, uncles, and cousins and family members, right? But a lot of these people not living those lives, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I already know.
Yeah,
I already
I'm telling
know.
you.
Listen, we know. We done seen them come through and be in there, so we already know.
Yeah, they not living that, but they make people think so.
This is why they need a Hefe's lifestyle. Where can they find this?
They can find it at www.ahefe lifestyle, AJEFELIFESTYLE.com or Amazon.com.
All right. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Ahefe Lifestyle.
Okay. Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Same thing. Hefe Lifestyle.
Yeah.
He sound like me. Everything's like
everything. I'm gonna keep it simple.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
keep
the
it simple.
same thing.
That way, if you ask me a million times, it's gonna be the
It's
same
the same
thing.
thing.
A Hefe Lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Inspirational quotes. Man, listen, man. I'm so proud to sit here today. This interview felt so good, and it cause I mean, when I was in there, I'm gonna tell you one of the things.
I'm no
I was a kid. And y'all used to tell me, "Oh, you got 10 more years in you."
Yeah.
You know that was my favorite.
You must have 10 more than me. I don't have no more than me. First time, last time for me. But I used to tell you.
Yeah, you
got
did.
You got another 10
in you. And listen, that never left my head since then. Of hearing that from you. I mean, I've made some mistakes, I've made some things, but I've always kept that inspirational quote from you.
Yeah.
You got another 10 in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Not
that's
trying to be facetious.
No. Listen, no.
Yeah,
I'm
just
telling
want
you
to
that
know.
helped me.
Right.
And I'm giving the world to know what we talking about with this 52 weeks of Hefe lifestyle. Yeah. You gave me some game from the Hefe lifestyle years ago. And it still rides with me.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? I'm an example of your inspirational quotes work because it's just stuck in my head every time I think about doing something. Do I got another 10 in me?
And see, can I explain something? That's more than any money in the world for me.
Exactly.
To hear people that honestly take a part in this book or been on the tour with me since I've been growing up, and to see them strive and use the principles, use the mentoring, use all the constant, use the consistency and discipline, the MR in the morning, the communication. That really means more to me than any amount of book sales, because if you know it and then you can share it with 3 people you know, and them 3 people share it with 3 people they know. So my goal is to reach 1 million people, right? And anybody that know the math behind 1 million people, 3 times that, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 million, 9 times 9 is 81 million, and so forth and so on. So that's where I'm at. That's why I want to reach 1 million people. That's my dream, to reach 1 million people in one capacity or another.
What's next, Chet?
Next, I'm lining up for the second book to come out. As you can see, Chet Pajardo, from author of A Hefe Lifestyle.
Okay.
That book come out. Next, I have a few other podcasts that I'm about to go on to. Next is opening the coaching department more up. You know, having seminars and webinars in that space instead of me doing one-on-one coaching. Unless you want me one-on-one, have my staff take the coaching reign and have the seminars and webinars in that space. And then on the quiet, I'm gonna give you to you first. The movie aspect is in position.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Because I see it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, when you say the movie aspect, is it Hefe?
I'm gonna say loosely Hefe.
Okay.
Loosely Hefe.
Okay.
Because you know, sometimes for cinematic reasons, you have to change something here and there.
Yeah, of course. But you know, this subject, you know what they say at the beginning of every movie.
Absolutely.
This was made up so you don't, you know,
Right, get anybody
in trouble. You know what I mean?
Basically.
So, I mean, man, listen, man. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you came in.
Thank
You told the people, go to Amazon. You want to get 52 weeks of Hefe, inspirational quotes. Go to Amazon. Is Barnes & Noble yet?
No, not Barnes & Noble.
Okay, so you can go to the website. The website is what?
www.ahefelifestyle.com.
Okay. And it's the man right here. You met him. Appreciate you, baby.
Thank
It was
you
a
for
great
having me,
interview, man. I
Thank-
can't wait
appreciate you.
to do this
man, give
again.
me real love. Give me real love, man. Don't give me that little fake handshake shit. Excuse me, I don't know.
No, it's all right, y'all.
But
But
yeah.
we came from the valley.
Yeah.
Look where we at, man.
Look where we at.
Man,
Well, thank you. Come on, man.
Man.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
Feel good,
Thank y'all
baby.
for having me. Everybody, I appreciate it, brother. Honest.
Yep. Hey, till next time, thanks for coming to sit at the table. I'm your host, Dre. This is Chet at Hefe Lifestyle. Y'all know what it is.
And from Baltimore to sit at the table, we like to thank you. How about that? We
Ain't got
love
no
sitting
choice.
at the table.
Hey, this
Thank
episode-
y'all.
hey, this
Make
episode-
sure y'all tune in.
This episode for all y'all that said hanging with the Baltimore guys wasn't gonna help.
Yeah.
Look at it now. We helping each other.
Absolutely.
Till next time. Peace.